Stand for
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please read the statement of public notice.
The Little Falls Township Planning Board meeting of Thursday, August 6, 2026 is called to order. Please take notice that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. Notice of the meeting was promptly posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on January 8, 2026. Copy of the notice was sent via email to the North Jersey Herald News on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk. Please note that this meeting is being taped, therefore we ask that you speak loud and clear into the microphones.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Barry?
Here.
Mr. Karas?
Here.
Mr. Luke Demiano?
Here.
Ms. Cataldo?
Here.
Mr. Seaver? Mr. Pocious?
Here.
Mayor Demiano?
Here.
Councilman Scoba?
Here.
Dr. Abdi?
Here.
Mr. Dolan? Mr. Arema?
Here.
Mr. Jordan? Mr. Brigliadoro?
Here.
Mr. Colbars?
Here.
Mr. Barry?
Here.
Chairman Kilpatrick?
Here. Thank you. Councilman Scoba, does the council have any comments for us?
At our last council meeting, Chairman, no one came before the governing body with any concerns for this planning board.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion for the approval of minutes of the meeting of June 4th, 2026?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
please poll the board.
Mr. Barry?
Yes.
Mr. Luke Demiano?
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo?
Yes.
Mr. Pocious?
Yes.
Dr. Abdi?
Yes.
Mr. Arema?
Yes.
Chairman Kilpatrick?
Chairman votes yes, the minutes are approved. May I have a motion for memorializing the resolution of La Sala Developers LLC, 201 East Main Street, 64 Long Hill Road?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Second.
please poll the board.
Mr. Barry?
Yes.
Mr. Luke Demiano?
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo?
Yes.
Mr. Pocious?
Yes.
Dr. Abdi?
Yes.
Chairman Kilpatrick?
Chairman votes yes, the resolution is memorialized. May I have a motion to memorialize the resolution for Raz Dispensary LLC, 620 to 640 Route 46 West?
Make the motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Please poll the board.
Mr. Barry?
Yes.
Mr. Luke Demiano?
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo?
Yes.
Chairman Kilpatrick?
Chairman votes yes, the resolution is memorialized. Our first application tonight is Lebco Route 46 Associates, 1710 US Route 46 West.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Mr. Brigliadoro, nice to see you. Here, Gregory Massara, Bannon Roding, McDonald and Massara, and red means on, is that? The red light means it's on?
It's on.
Yeah, okay. Gregory Massara, Bannon Roding, McDonald and Massara in Verona on behalf of the applicant, Levco Route 46 Associates. That's block 201, lots 3, 9, and 10. It's on Route 46 West. Mr. Chairman, the subject of the application this evening is a minor site plan approval. We are looking to fill the spot that was formerly occupied by Wayne Dinette. We have an applicant this evening, Vavella Coffee, who is looking to take over that spot, to use that spot as a restaurant. Our application does not include any variances. There will be no exterior changes to the building that exists. It's our understanding that we meet all of the parking requirements, albeit a little unusual, but that we do meet the parking requirements. I have two witnesses this evening. My first witness is Hutafa Awadad.
Chairman, before I swear in the witness, I just want the record to reflect that Mr. Macera's office provided me with a notice package. I did review it. Does conform to the requirements of the municipal land use law, so the board has jurisdiction to pursue with this application.
Thank you, counsel. Will we use the same microphone? or-
Yes. Is the portable mic available? It's locked up in the closet. Go ahead, just use that mic.
You swear you swear from testimony that you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and give us your address, please.
My name is Daifa Awauda. My last name is AWAWDEH,
Oh, I'm sorry, your first name, sir.
HUTH, AIFAH. 52, Mac Queen Road. 15.
So, you're the principal of the Valley Cafe, something, right?
Yes.
And the tenants will operate establishment. Same question. Out to the picture.
About 7 a.m.
Is that the operation?
Yes.
This is a franchise.
Yes.
Franchise. You have no plans to modify the exterior?
No. Yes.
Seven. 76, yes. And you have employees?
Yes.
What these?
We have 25 roughly, and then half of that in Russia.
So we could put 15 employees. That includes plus service.
Yes.
Have you reviewed the parking schematic? And out there, parking space.
Yes.
Well, I'm probably testing the meeting. I have no other questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Just one question. Is this 7 days a week?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, my next witness is Joshua Weary.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Weary.
You swear from the testimony about giving before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do, yeah.
Please tell us your name and spell your.
Sure. My name is Joshua Weary, last name Wirry. Place of business is 245 Main Street, Chester.
Mr. Weary, did you get the benefit of your application, current licenses in the state?
Sure. So I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. I graduated from New Jersey Institute of Technology, Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering, or Principal at Dynamic Engineering, located in Chester, New Jersey. I testified before various boards throughout New Jersey, including Little Falls back in 2022. I have over 11 years at this.
Any licenses are all active?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you. Accepted.
Thank you.
We're here to learn about the subject property and police requests.
That is correct, yes.
And then Johnson was stated, so that you plans and that you know.
That is correct. Yes.
So the board's application, can you advise how many parking spaces are required in this portion, in the local portion of the shopping center?
Correct. Yeah. So our office, we prepared calculations for the new use as well as the existing tenants that are going to remain within this building. And based on our calculations, a minimum of 109 total parking spaces are required within the Little Falls section of the shopping center. And 145 total parking spaces are being provided, which complies with the requirement.
You made a letter of the engineer to open the question. He suggested that applicant will
That is correct.
they will be able to modify the parking layout, the small grade to accommodate handicap.
That is correct. So He indicated that there was not sufficient ADA spaces direct vicinity to the building as well as the other exterior parking areas within Little Falls. We reviewed that with the applicant and agreed to comply provide the correct number of ADA spaces.
The request was for 5. Is that what you're agreeing to?
Yes.
I believe it was 5 within the exterior area and 2 within the immediate vicinity of the building, which would be a total of 7. We reviewed that and agreed to provide.
And there were other comments in his letter, is that correct?
That's correct.
And did you review those comments?
Yes.
Are there anything in those comments that you cannot comply with?
No, there was no issues with complying with the comments. There was a recommendation planning letter. The board planner recommended that we consider allocating a few spaces for short-term pickup for customers as well as delivery services. That's something that the applicant reviewed. I think it's a good idea. We agreed to assign a few spaces for those spaces.
Was there anything else that needs to be addressed this evening?
No, there's-
Nothing you, they asked, correct?
The engineer had mentioned one of the gates was in disrepair to the dumpster enclosure.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we have looked at that.
So you accept everything in the engineer's report?
That's, if necessary, yes.
Thank you.
The property is on, as the property is on 2 streets.
That's good.
Some of the material in the 2 sides. In accordance with,
That's correct, and that's also consistent with the other tenants in that.
okay, and you have a depiction of signs that the applicant intends to put on the building.
We do have them tonight. I don't believe it was submitted for the application, but the applicant has prepared the sign package.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, Marquis is getting one. Title, third page, cover, exterior of the sign. There's the Where can you briefly describe the size of the sign?
Sure, and as indicated, the intent is to quote 2 wall signs. One of those signs would be facing Route 46. The other sign would be facing the interior of the shopping center. Again, that's consistent with the other tenants that are existing in that building. The proposed sign is approximately 85 square feet, and the intent to comply with any other signage requirements.
And no other questions.
Just like to ask our engineer or planner, do the signs conform to our ordinance? A very well crafted sign ordinance.
Offhand, I don't know. The permitted width is based on the width of the tenant space. The representation, I believe, is that these signs comply. They'd have to come for permit review and either be modified to comply, or if they need a variance, they would have to come back to the board.
Will the applicant agree to comply with our sign ordinance?
Absolutely, yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other comments, Mike?
Just one clarification, I'm sorry, the total number of. Two in the meeting.
Yes, we got it. Understood. Thank you.
I know the questions.
All right, any questions to the board? Any additional?
Wait, no.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, the hours of operations, you said 7 AM to 12 PM, 7 days a week. Okay, I'm not sure if this is in line with the hours of operation for the business. I thought Saturdays and Sundays, that might be different.
I'd
but-
rather leave it than
Okay.
That would be, that's a market operation of franchising. We would apply with the-
Thank you.
Any other questions? Me?
There's a driveway that circles the property. Is there any interest in this applicant to provide a drive-through pickup window?
That is not part of the plan. There is no plan, has not even been discussed, quite honestly. It's not something that we're serving for later.
Good.
Not to say that in the future, but it is not in anybody's head right now as not.
Thank you. Is the building sprinkler?
I don't know. We believe so, but I cannot make that representation. We obviously will have to comply.
Of course.
May I have a motion to open up the meeting to the public?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is now open to the public. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come forward and stand at the podium. No one coming forward. I close the meeting to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just
Closing comments?
nothing to say, Mr. Chairman, except that we meet the site plan requirements. We're looking to fill vacant space, which is a win-win for everybody, and we would ask for the board to grant the application.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
I'm sorry. Mr. Brigliaturo, I did not mean to bypass you.
Mr. Chairman, so this is a application for minor site plan approval. There's no variances required. In terms of conditions, I would just indicate that the applicant is represented that they comply with all appropriate terms and conditions set forth in the board engineer's report, the board planner's report as is testified to on the record. We have our conditions.
Very well. We already have a motion and we have a second. Please poll the board.
Mr. Barry,
Yes.
Mr. Parag.
Yeah.
Mr. Luke Damiano,
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo,
Yes.
Mr. Procius.
Yes.
Mayor Damiano,
Yes.
Councilman Scoba,
Yes.
Rod Radley,
Yes.
Chairman Kilpatrick.
Chair votes yes, the application is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's always a pleasure to appear in front of this board. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Chairman, at this time, the mayor and myself cannot hear the existing application, so we'd like to be excused.
You are excused. But you two have to sit down. You wanna go speak to him for a moment?
Oh. Yep.
Oh, I was getting up. Okay. Grab your thing. Oh, we lost the chair?
Yeah, the chairman.
Was here a moment ago.
Good. Only about 7.
Oh, well. Peggy, you want to give me something or later? Okay. All right, the next application is Raphael and Sebastian Cruz, 24 Woodside Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Joseph P. DeMarco from DeMarco and DeMarco. My firm represents the applicants in connection with this application, Mr. Raphael Cruz and Mr. Sebastian Cruz. This application seeks B1 use variance relief to permit an auto customization business in a residential zone. The address of the property is 24 Woodside Avenue. The proposal is not for new construction. It's not for an expansion of the existing building. The building
footprint as it is today, will remain exactly as it is. And as you may know, this property has a long-standing history of commercial use. In fact, at this point, my understanding that it's being utilized as a electrical contractor warehouse. This application simply seeks to continue productive use of the existing commercial building with a business that you'll hear operates strictly indoors. This property respectively is undoubtedly suited for the respective use. We believe the application satisfies both positive and negative criteria for a use variance. This proposal, in our opinion, advances use of an existing commercial property while avoiding potential vacancy and maintaining site, which is obviously important as it remains in the residential area. At the same time, it's not going to cause substantial detriment to the public good or substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zoning. Because again, there's no expansion of the existing site. There's no change to the building footprint. And in our opinion, there'll be no impact on the surrounding neighborhoods. This evening, I have here with me the owner and operator of the proposed business, Mr. Sebastian Cruz. And Mr. Cruz will testify regarding the nature of the business. Not many people understand what auto customization means. So he'll clarify for that. He'll clarify what that means, answer any questions, and he'll explain the day-to-day operations. And hopefully, he'll convey what measures he's going to take to ensure compatibility with the neighborhood, again, as it exists today. Thank you in advance for your time. And at this time, I would like to call my first and only witness, Mr. Raphael Cruz. Sebastian.
Chairman, just for jurisdictional purposes, Mr. DeMarco and I had a conversation today. I was provided with the notice package. I did review it. It conforms to the requirements of the municipal land use law, so that the board has jurisdiction to pursue the application.
Thank you, Mr.
Please raise your right hand. You swear from the testimony you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth.
Yes.
Please tell us your name and spell your last name for the record.
Sebastian Cruz, last name is CRUZ.
Thank you. Mr. Cruz, good evening. How old are you? Currently, what is your occupation?
I'm operator of
And we'll get into the mobile detailing company. How long have you been in that business?
I've been in the business for 6 years.
And this evening, you're seeking to have this board approve the property at 24 Woodside to be used as an auto customization shop. Is that correct? Yes. All right. So Sebastian, I'm going to ask you to explain in detail to everyone here what, in your own words, what an auto customization shop is.
So auto customization shop, what we'll be doing there would be vinyl wrapping for vehicles, basically changing the appearance of vehicles, tinting, paint protection film. That's basically it.
So I appreciate that, but let's just go back. So just explain briefly what vinyl wrapping is.
Vinyl wrapping is, for example, you have your car, have white car, for example, you want purple, yellow, black, red, whatever color you like, change the appearance.
Okay, and the process by which you do that, Sebastian, is there actual paint involved or strictly?
No paint, chemicals, it's literally film. Most toys that we made is.
Okay, so that's vinyl wrapping. You mentioned some other activities involved in auto customization. You mentioned window tinting, correct? Is that what I know to be window tinting?
Exactly.
Okay, and you mentioned some other activities.
Paint protection film with, which is basically like that.
All right, so as part of this application, Sebastian, are you seeking to change the exterior of the building or the site? No. Okay, so is it true that you're looking to maintain the footprint of the building? I think you touched upon this earlier, but I just want to clarify. So any of these activities that would form as part of this business would there be any type of chemicals involved in this business? And again, I think you mentioned that there's no spray paint, correct? Okay, and you did mention noise. Is there any noise that's created by any of these activities that will be taking place? in the shop?
I don't know. The heat guns the most that we heard, and I'm sure we all heard. That would be-
Okay, and this work that we're discussing, is it true that all of the work will be performed inside of the building? Yes. Would any of the work at any time whatsoever be performed outside of the building? Okay. And you reviewed the plans that were submitted by the architect, correct? And they accurately depict how the inside of the premises will look, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and just briefly explain the proposed interior of the building.
Both the area of the building has space, it's not found. Two bathrooms that are already there.
Okay, so when you say bays, so the 6 bays are the area in which each car will be parked?
Yes.
So it can hold 6 cars
It can
inside?
hold 6, but
Okay, so when you say you probably won't use all 6, is it common, your experience? I know that up until now, you've had a mobile detail business,
Yeah.
right? By the way, does that mean you go from house, business to business with
yeah,
a truck?
trust enough.
Okay. So based upon the last 6 years of you doing the mobile business, you can believe that at any time you'll have all 6 bays filled inside?
No.
All right. Now, discuss, Sebastian, this proposed business, is it going to result in any cars being stored outside? For example, you finish a car. Are you going to be parking cars outside while a customer picks them up?
No.
Okay, what's going to happen?
What we're gonna do is by appointment, same way, retail, it's only gonna be another way. We don't, yeah, so.
Okay. So a customer just can't show up on your location and
No.
want work done? No, it has to be.
There has to
Okay. So as far as storing vehicles, is it true that at all times, vehicles on which you're working will be stored inside? Okay. And again, there will be no work performed outside, correct? Okay. Now you mentioned it's going to be you and another individual?
Yes.
Okay. And the other employees besides the 2 of you? Okay. And where will both of you be parking?
So I'm not mistaken, I checked engineering plans and having some parking spots outside, but I doubt we'll ever go outside unless the bays are full inside. During the time, spaces will be inside, which I'm sure.
Okay. What are the intended hours of operation?
So the intended hours are, I would say 9 to 5.
Okay, and how many days per week? 6 days. Every day. So that's Monday, Saturday. Contemplating at this point, 9 to 5, is that correct? Or open to suggestions, is that correct? Okay. And what about cycling, refuse? How is that going to be and
So, really, whatever requirements you have to hire a service. Take care of, disposable trash or recycling.
and you read the engineer's plan, correct? Yeah. And they're noted, was broken concrete sidewalk front of the building where that is. And here, to, take notes to repair the sidewalk. There's also it was a chain link fence on one side of the property. That, yes, yeah. So I think that's also damaged, correct? Yeah, building to repair both in their own respect, correct? Currently, there's a sign, at the property, correct? Yeah, I believe that's fixed to the front of the building over the existing garage, correct? What is your intention with respect to signage on the property?
My intent is to have something, just that same as what it's, that puts me, like, it's pretty much the same.
Okay, so is it gooseneck lighting? That's a light that goes over the sign that directs light right down. Okay, other than that light, Sebastian, other exterior lighting, unless requested. All right. And as far as the sign, wood panel sign or? Okay, the front of the building now, saw a picture, I believe was. Right, and you're familiar with the property, correct? And as you're looking at the front of the building, currently it looks like there's overgrown shrubs, grass, weeds, signs, correct? You willing, to maintain the landscaping, upgrade it so that it's no longer an eyesore? Okay, and what would you do as part of it?
As part of that, I think there's a small patch of grass and, grass and, some bushes and make sure they're trimmed, not top with our. And, kind of plants and stuff, but they would.
And you heard me mention, best of my knowledge, currently that property is being used as electrical contract warehouse, is that correct? Is that your understanding? And to the best of your knowledge, that property, historically been used commercially. Okay, and I assume the property? Okay, and you describe right now what inside of that premises looks like?
Does it look to be, there's a mess.
I'm saying that's electrical items, equipment. By the way, are you gonna have any heavy machinery, in the interior, require any of that, for your function? Okay. Okay, so essentially, the outside of the building footprint, Sebastian, do you plan on changing that at all? The outside,
Outside, I would same think that it has, like the dark gray, that's all.
so it's actually painted. I believe now it's the grayish.
It's the same gray that it had, I'm just. Little bit,
Other than potentially painting, the dark, specific, no change to the exterior. Okay, so the exterior is, it should not have an impact on the surrounding neighborhood, is that correct? Okay. And Sebastian, currently, you're under contract to purchase property, is that correct? So. Business, you own the property, correct? Can you just briefly tell me why you want this?
I love the small town feel, really like living both of it nearby, passing by here, and I just love the feeling. I mean, in the future, I actually look forward to maybe potentially buying property here to live. Have a view. One of the really goals.
And again, as part of your contract to purchase that property, there's a contingency on it, correct? Okay. Is that quickly expiring? Okay, so if you then, or will it has to expedite the process? So solely to be contract. I don't believe I have any questions.
Well, it appears you covered everything in the planners and engineers report. Quite impressive. Did we address the use?
Not yet.
Since it's, okay, you're going to do that.
I will do, yeah, we don't have our, architect, but I can certainly.
Very good. Any questions so far of the board?
I actually have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Just to confirm, there'll be no audio exhaust modification, any of that stuff done in the vehicles? Okay. And in the process of doing the wraps, are there chemicals involved that would cause you to open the door, open the bay, anything like that to air it out? Okay. Good.
Approximately how long would it take to do a car?
So, it all depends, depends on the size of the vehicle, and it depends what the, well, like, your average, let's say, Honda Accord, for the was like wrap, it can anywhere from in hours, I would say about 18 hours, so. Not that we work 18 hours.
No, I understand. So you would plan to park vehicles in the garage overnight?
Mr. Cruz, you're such a fine young man.
Thank you.
But because it is residential area, and that's actually my district, District 8, I just want a commitment from you that you are not going to play any loud music. I have taught within public education and university for 30 years, so I know how young kids are. So just a commitment that there won't be any loud music played out by you.
So you said appointment only. What stops someone from coming to the business, multiple people, and then everyone's parking on the street trying to get a wrap done or thing?
My biggest pet peeve, this is, it's people who like, it's because I'm not able to dedicate enough time to it. So, I mean, I'm not saying maybe somebody might stop by and ask for a photo, but it's not like, that's a job, it's now, it's your wrap. It's not something I can say, oh yeah, leave it here, and, get it done. So, we're not. I have no. I mean, we're gonna do a point.
No, the reason why I asked is like not so much the appointments is someone looks on the phone and they say, oh, there's a detail in place, or I'm sorry, I've done the detail in wraps and stuff. And now you have 5 or 6 cars that are blocked on the street, blocking the driveways or homes. How would you combat that? Is there something where you have signage up where no walk-ins allowed, appointment by only?
Signs, walk-ins allowed, but I'm very. I'm not scared to tell somebody I'm going to get happy. But,
And certainly if the board has any suggestions, signs, signage, in the shop, door, maybe properly, saying that. So,
I like to buy appointments over some, as long as it conforms with our signs.
You mentioned that you have a mobile detailing, business or customization, fleet at this point, or vehicle. Where do you intend to park those vehicles
So,
that you currently have? in fleet?
so, one of my employees are working. When I think about my house. You have to get out. Just go straight.
So that will not be parked, so neither of those be parked on the property, correct?
No, I
Or
mean,
on the street.
no, not on the street at all. At most, maybe we're running low on product, over where we store products. Not high, but everything's. Still.
That's an excellent segue. When you, I would imagine you need to order products in order to supply them for your work. How do you intend and how are those delivered?
So I like to buy my products in bulk. I like to buy in 5 gallons to where I dilute them into another flat gallon, so where we dive into a gallon, to where the gallon gets diluted into a 30 bottle. We could go for holding the break to the building. And then we have the gallons, so and most will just bring it down.
So how are the products delivered to the property? I think.
Yeah.
That's.
Oh,
that's-
are they delivered? By FedEx.
Oh,
Oh, it's typical delivery vehicle. It's not a,
it's not some big tractor trailer company, no, products.
and this liquid, is it toxic? How do you dispose of it?
So that's mold, that's not really, shop. But, you know, not everything needs, pH control, everything needs biodegradable. Um, Mobile when this is, separate,
Then I want to double back on my question. So the supplies for this shop that you're going to require, not necessarily the mobile piece. For this shop, you're going to get deliveries for material to operate the business, right? That's still coming via FedEx? It's only liquid drums?
yeah, so well, they would be like the drone, like paint protection, for wraps. Do stuff like that, outfit mold.
So what if these products get delivered outside of the operation?
Question, I agree, I agree.
But we'll take any measures to ensure that, certain crews, any and all vendors, that any and all who are tackling the, during operating. So, sure, absolutely.
That's what the public's-
Thank you very much.
So would you represent, there's going to be no hazardous materials stored on site?
Any other questions to the board? May I have a motion to open up the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed, no.
We're gonna open the meeting to the public.
The meeting is now open to the public. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the podium. Anybody wants to say anything, come on up.
And we're gonna take you one at a time, so I'm gonna swear, whoever wants to speak, I'm gonna swear you in. I'm gonna ask everybody to tell us your name, give us your address, and I'm gonna swear you in, okay? So you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this board, it's gonna be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. You have to speak up.
I do.
Okay. Please tell us your name, spell your
My
last
name is
name.
Salvatore Loretta.
How do you spell your last, I'm sorry, how do you spell your last name?
Lauretta.
And your address, sir?
6 Woodside Avenue. Little Falls.
Right. Good, sir.
I used to have my own business for 35 years plus. When it comes to cars, there's people, I got into problems, they don't have fun with cars. They let the cars be days, except the time. Where this car is gonna be parked. People don't pick up the cars. What if at the appointment, he's gonna make it, if have new cars coming in, what's he gonna do with the old cars? That's where problem already had to park on the street. Used to have double parking on the streets, that's on one side of the street. Struggling for parking. The whole block, several double parking was, we have many cars, it's residential. Now with car business, they. If you call for appointments, I used to call people for appointments, car is done, I don't have no money, pick it up next week, or what they're gonna do with the cars, they store it, yard, days, weeks of time, because people pick it up. Now, I got stuck with cars, and no room for it. So when it comes to automotive business, that's what's gonna happen. People coming in, because I was business owner for 35 years. And I know what it's gonna be. Beautiful.
Would you like to address that?
Since they built 1980, I think people put our years to be a quiet neighborhood. And I like. The influence. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're gonna get an answer to that question.
So I could speak and then if Sebastian wants to speak. So this particular business, again, it's not similar to auto body or auto care shop. Sebastian will further expound on this, but this type of business, typically you're dealing with higher end vehicles. So it's a different essentially getting high end, like, so as far as someone dropping off a vehicle, that is 70, 75, $80,000, keeping it there, we don't foresee that. Sebastian talked more about that, but I believe the intent is that there will never be cars parked on the street. For a new car to come in and be worked on, an existing vehicle inside the garage will have to. If it stops, Sebastian will have to put there. The gallons, deal with that. He will do that. Ensure that, no, I understand the concern. It's completely understandable, but again, for one car to come in, another car has to be picked up. It's not going to be just storing cars on the street.
All right, thank you.
You want to add?
I mean, it's exactly how you said, majority of cars we deal with are high end. I'm pretty sure somebody with a $150,000 car, $300,000 car, not gonna want the car on the street.
Is that typically
That's
the
the
cars that
average.
you deal with?
That's that.
Hopefully that.
Thank you. For all those online, Mr. Pocius has recommended that you don't have to stand, you can sit. You can come up one at a time.
Please raise your right hand. You swear from the testimony about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
It's Elena, Elaina, Farinas, Farinhas. I live at 8 Brookside Ave, Little Falls. My home was the one that caught fire in June. Everybody
Oh,
probably heard about
sorry.
it, but I also own 14 Brookside. So, and my grandfather's been there 60 years, so I grew up on. Still in town, thankfully, while we're rebuilding. Can I go? I wrote something down, so I'm just gonna read it. So I'm here because I want to express my opposition to the application for the customization shop. There's residential neighborhood already deals with a lot. We have the liquor store. I know it's been there, for forever. That's fine. But we get a lot of traffic from them. We get a lot of speeding. We get a lot of people throwing alcohol bottles out, which has caused problems at times because me and my family are not the type to just watch that happen. But, so we already deal with a lot. We have at the end of Brookside, if you remember, I always called it the wood shop at the end, which is now a custom cabinetry place, which is another problem. Sometimes when we're outside, you can smell the fumes coming out of there, That's not really nice to have coming when you're sitting outside on your front porch and all you smell is fumes and we have to go back inside. Also, we get already a lot of people coming in and out of Brookside. They think it's a one-way for some reason. They come in and they do U-turns in our driveways. I have videos. They come on my driveway and my neighbors, they come up on the lawn. They don't realize they can go down and go around to Woodside. So they do U-turns and the kids are outside playing and you have to just be ready to see what's going to happen next. So that's another thing. Also, we do already have interlock mobile service that's at 325 Main Street and the corner of Woodside. They also offer vehicle customization such as window tinting. The list goes on and on, but that's one of the things. It's a custom shop. I'm very concerned, and I'll even say convinced, that the addition to this automobile customization shop in our small neighborhood would exacerbate the existing problems. I believe that this type of business is incompatible with our residential neighborhood, and I respectfully request that the board deny the variance.
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing my long speech. Thank you.
You swear from the testimony you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and your address.
Santiago Torres, last name is Torres, 17 Woodside Avenue, across the street from the proposed application. My understanding of a D1 use variance is that it not only carry over any commercial use, but that the site be particularly suited for the application. Now, as the prior witness testified, we have a similar use at the end of the street, and the two sites do not match up. I've lived at the property for 5 years. I've been very familiar with how the electrician and mill worker use their sites. I don't think that this particular site can handle any outside customers coming into the site at the end of a residential street. My concern is that Woodside and Brookside are going to turn into a traffic loop. Like I said, the electrician and the mill worker, they primarily use their commercial properties for their employees. So if you figure this application has 6 bays, anytime you go to an auto body shop, you need 2 cars to get dropped off and picked up. The turnover for 6 bays, we're basically turning a residential street, 2 streets, into a commercial traffic. The site is just not appropriate for that kind of use.
Thank you.
You swear from the testimony you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and your address.
My name is Elvis Murillo, last name Morillo. I moved to
I'm
Liverpool.
sorry, your address, sir.
I'm sorry,
Address, sir.
18 Woodside Avenue.
Thanks.
I moved to Liverpool about 5 years ago, and I was telling, and you're not major, but you look like. I was telling the mayor yesterday when we had something in the parking lot here at the police station that this is an amazing city. I love what we do here. I have 2 kids and I live very close to the shop that they trying to put this business on. And my concern is that he's saying that there will be no chemicals dealt with in the shop, but I don't have the expertise to say that they're not gonna deal with any chemicals. I'm concerned about my 2 kids. I know there are other neighbors that have small kids that they come out and play. What would it be when they start opening, when they open the shop and vehicles will be coming in and coming out? How are we gonna be taking care of our kids when they come out and play? So that is my concern. They already said that there's another shop out there to the corner that there's same type of business. Automobile shop. And I've seen automobile shops out other city, which is totally not how it was described here. Now, my question to Mr. Cruz is, where does he live and why is he not trying to put this business around his area where he lives?
You choose to respond, you don't have to.
I mean, I live in Hilton, very close. If I found the spot in Hilton, I would love to have it. But this is the spot that I feel suits me. And like I said, how I felt about Little Falls. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to finish up, I just like the board to deny this application because this is gonna bring a lot of concern to the neighborhood. This is a beautiful neighborhood, and we are just trying to be concerned for our kids.
Thank you. Come on.
You swear from the testimony you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Okay. My name is Janine Takahashi. That's Janine. Last name is Takahashi, Takahashi. I live at 20 Woodside Avenue. That's right adjacent to the building that we're discussing. Our driveway, which is also 18 Woodside driveway, is approximately, is less than 20 feet. And that includes the small walkway to the back of 24 Woodside. It is about less than 20 feet long. There is parking for two sides, our side, and then there is an easement for 18 Woodside, so they can park there. So if you look at sometimes the diagrams or the maybe the surveys or something, you might think that that easement is actually belonging to 24 Woodside, but no, they do not have a driveway. So let's make that clear, that they have a small walkway, less than 5 feet to the back, and no driveway. Okay. So I wrote something down because it's too many things. I'm very upset. Okay. So reasons our family opposes granting a non-conforming use variance for an automobile customization shop at 24 Woodside Ave, Little Falls. Okay, so the Little Falls Master Plan has designated our neighborhood as an R1C, which is a restrictive single-family residential zone. Allowing a more intensive industrial use of a building goes against the Little Falls Master Plan, I believe. Changing the use of 24 Woodside from a business that has been used as an electrical contractor's office and storage for almost 50 years this year, by the way, to an automobile customization shop would be substantially different from the current use of the property, I believe, anyway. It is also a commercial intensification of the property. This means I understand that more machinery, more chemicals, this is potentially, because I'll go into that more, because I know what you've heard, but I know potentially these businesses can morph into many more things. So anyway, more chemicals, more air and water pollution, more traffic, more noise pollution, more parking demand, more traffic hazards, and more fire hazards. Obviously, these issues would all be detrimental to the character of the neighborhood and the quality of life of the residents, and also detrimental to our property values. And ironically, the township recently replaced a commercial area right behind Woodside Avenue with the park townhouses. So how would intensifying industry on Woodside Avenue make any sense? Doesn't make sense. The applicants want to open an automobile customization shop with 6 bays. Okay. That means potentially working on 6 cars simultaneously, even though they say they won't, but potentially. According to Google, these automobile customization shops can offer some of the following services: engine tuning services, custom pipes and mufflers, suspension adjustments using new shocks, springs or lift kits, brake improvements, custom paint and wraps, body kits that add custom bumpers, side skirts and spoilers, wheel and tire enhancements, window tinting, audio and video upgrades, and technological integration services, such as cameras, traffic cameras, things. The main problems associated with this business, if it would morph into that, because there's nothing that says they can't add things, services later. You could have heavy tools being used, strong chemicals being used, more air pollution, noise hazards, polluted wastewater runoff, because you can't put wraps on a dirty car, you have to wash it properly. You cannot wrap a car that's not spotless. You should wrap it after washing it you have to wash it properly. Let's put it that way. So the closest house to 24 Woodside Ave is less than 20 feet away. That's us, There would also be a need for a dumpster outside the building. I don't know where they're going to put it, because the place where you put the dumpster is where they think they're going to park the car. So also, second point, there's much greater demand for parking, leading to parking problems and traffic hazards on our street for the following reasons. One, there's no on-site parking at 24 Woodside Ave. There is no on-site parking.
Look at it. Look at this. Look at the survey. Doesn't exist. Unless you're going to not put the dumpster in that little spot. Okay. There's no adjacent driveway. Okay. That's our driveway. And no, they're not going to use our driveway, or they're not going to use 18 Woodside's driveway either. So, okay, on-street parking is restricted to one side on Woodside Ave, and that happened many years ago, so that emergency vehicles such as fire engines can safely drive through. There are already problems for residents parking Woodside Avenue. So where would customers, employees, delivery trucks, and dumpster service for this proposed new auto business actually park? I know you're saying they're all going to park inside, but this does not make sense. It never happens like that. Look at any auto play. It just doesn't happen. So anyway, where they actually park. And thirdly, 24 Woodside Ave is on a abandoned end of the street, which also makes it a hazard when you're pulling cars in and out. Now, I know you might not think so, but when these cars are pulling out, the other cars that are coming up Woodside Avenue are going to go this way to avoid them. And meanwhile, you have other cars come around the other side of the bend from Brookside, and you can't see them all coming, whether they're trucks or not. There is a hazard there. So I'm just saying. So, okay, they have one entrance, one vehicle entrance. All the cars have to go in and out in the same entrance. So I think double parking is going to become a major problem. So, and for these reasons, a non-conforming use variance should absolutely be denied. That place makes no sense for any kind of business that can, I know they say they're starting with wraps. Yes, and they're starting with only a couple employees, but there are 6 bays. 6 bays. You don't think that the temptation is going to be like, let's fill them all. Let's fill all the bays. And then now that we're in, let's add this and let's add this service. Why not? Right? And we are going to be stuck with this. Yes, there's going to be noise. There's going to be chemicals. Where the dumpster goes, who knows? You tell me. But please deny this. This is ridiculous. This is really detrimental and very bad for property values too. So please deny it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
What you testify for this?
Anyone else want to address the board?
Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm the testimony that you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and use your address.
Gregory Knox, NOX, 12 Woodside Avenue. I'd like to start with an apology. I heard voting earlier, it clearly jumped the gun. But I
No need
commend,
to apologize.
I commend Mr. Patricio, the 23-year-old business owner. It's incredible. That being said, to Mr. Calder's point and to the army behind me point, it is the wrong name. It's a U-shaped residential neighborhood. The building that was there 50 years, just it's very quiet. It's not an electrician roundabout where he's in and out several times a day. It's more of a storage warehouse, electrical equipment, as they testify to. I guess I'm not asking you to sympathize us, more so put yourself in our shoes. You want this on your block of 14 homes. It's a very difficult situation.
Thank you.
Swear from the, I'm sorry, you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and give us your address, please.
My name is Jalissa Trinidad, last name Trinidad. I live in 7
E-R-I.
Trinidad.
First name.
Jalissa, Julisa.
Right.
I live in 7 Woodside Avenue. I have 2 children, my husband and I, and they're usually with their scooters with the other kids playing around. And I know and I also congratulate him for being so young and having this business. I'm not trying to tear down your business. It's good for you. Awesome. That's incredible. But it says, he says that there won't be no paint, no chemicals, no nothing. But in order for, if you look it up online, I know nothing about auto customization. I know nothing. But if you look up online, it says that, yes, they use paint, they release strong fumes, and custom paint jobs, body kits, graphic wraps involve chemical solvents, primer base, and clear coats. So all that gets evaporated into the air. And we're consuming it, our kids are consuming it, and we don't want it. You could do it anywhere else. It doesn't have to be in a residential area. If you could please not approve this and take us, our health, our children's health, we're tax-paying people in Little Falls. A lot of us have been there for 40, 50 years. I've been there less than 10 years. I've been happy. My kids go to the school there. I have kids in middle school, in one of the middle schools, the elementary school, and we don't want this for them. So if they could do it somewhere else, it would be incredible. I want him to grow. I'm not tearing him down, but it's just not in our neighborhood to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one coming forward. I close the meeting to the public. Summarize.
Just briefly, just to address some of the concerns. So I know there are concerns with chemicals, there are concerns about possibilities of expanding business. We've heard from Mr. Cruz testified that there are no chemicals. Are there any fumes involved in this? There's no type of air ventilation system that would have to be required, similar to like a repair shop or a body shop where there's ventilation equipment required. Nothing like that, correct? So as to alleviate any concerns with respect to potentially expanding upon the auto customization business that Mr. Cruz testified to, as part of any approvals, there could be conditions as what can't, not permitted to do, such as engine repair, mufflers. I think the concerns were repairs, auto repairs. That's not going to happen. So as you can memorialize that and approval that certain things will not be done, so that Mr. Cruz cannot, not that he would, that he cannot usually decide to expand on the service. He'd be more than willing to accept those conditions.
Okay.
So
No, the public portion of the meeting is closed. You can no longer address the board. Rich,
Chair, the public portion is closed.
it's closed. I'm sorry. I understood what you're saying. It's closed. Thank you.
okay, so just briefly, so the testimony presented by Mr. Cruz this evening demonstrates that we believe that the application satisfies criteria required for this type of variance. This property is unique. It's a long-standing commercial history. And Mr. Cruz is not here proposing to expand upon or alter the footprint that's been there for years. This existing business has been there for 50 years. Instead, Mr. Cruz is only seeking to continue the productive use of existing commercial building with an indoor auto customization business that we believe is well suited for the site. The testimony also established that the proposed use will not cause substantial detriment to the public good, chemicals. There will be no on-street or outdoor parking at any time whatsoever. Free and direct any vendors that deliveries must be made during business hours. And again, already agreed to accept whatever conditions have to be imposed by the board to ensure that he will not expand upon the business that he testified to. Again, this is a long-standing commercial use, and for all of those reasons, respect of requesting
that before the grant. So.
Thank you.
for your time and submission.
Thank you for your presentation.
And if, just one, if the board is inclined, to approve, we're asking for expedited approval only because of the, contract. Please.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry, I'm not quite sure I understood that. Would you say that
Just,
again?
expedited.
Oh. You either say yea or nay.
Oh, no, if, oh, it was an if. I understand. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Zay, thank you.
Thank
Any comments from our professionals?
Said one question, if you could clarify it for refuse and recyclables, are they gonna be entirely contained within the building? Until they're ready to be picked up? So no out exterior dump. No exterior dump.
No. Unless we. It's a requirement.
So I don't think it's really. That exterior space.
Oh, of course.
Yes. Well, there's really no area to put it at. So, yeah.
Right.
Well, to begin with, I don't think it would be enough trash to.
So is the trash gonna be picked up by a private hauler, or is that something the municipality is gonna pick up?
If needed, we're willing to get a service. Private.
It's gonna be all contained, we'll pick up that.
A member of the public raised a point and we didn't touch on it. Do the cars need to be washed before you wrap them?
Not necessarily, at most, you could do like a waterless wash, which is it's basically like when you spray them in water, right, for the waterless wash. At most, I mean, you just need kind of a clean surface as long as you wipe it down. So,
Okay, so there would be no washing of cars on site, indoors, outdoors, anywhere, there would be no washing of cars.
at most, I mean, like we spoke about, the hosing down of the car, it's dirty, might hose down the car, but I can use water as possible. Nothing, so, nothing to happen with this.
Okay. So is there any kind of floor drains? Is the building equipped with drainage if you need to hose down a car?
There's drainage in front.
In-
Exterior of the building or into the house?
Yes,
House.
but what's it called? Drainage, if to put drains inside, then
It's the only question I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, discussion from the board?
Yeah, we should get clarification. Or.
Comment to that, or someone from the public said, it's not your driveway, it's their driveway.
I don't really know much of it. I wasn't planning on using the side of it. I know we have about 7 feet on the side, but it's nothing that I was planning on.
The public comments section is closed. No, no. I believe
I don't know if the answer.
he's discussing the part between the neighboring house and the building. Is that the driveway he's referring to? you think?
I think so.
Yeah,
I never really thought about doing any of that.
who does own that, do you know?
Huh?
Do you know how far your property goes over?
Off the top of my head, no.
You have a
but
plan, maybe our engineer,
Plan says 5.1 feet in front
5.1 feet.
and 4.3 in the back.
Okay, that answers that question. It'll be tight for a car.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I brought up the, need that there's people.
Looks like there'd be enough room for two.
Okay, so there is room where they can park, so essentially that space is their space, it's not a shared. Okay, that's, I want to clarify.
Very good. Ma'am, please stop. We understand the picture. It's okay. You see, everything that is spoken here is testimony. And we can't hear you back.
So let's ask. We have the survey here. There is a 4.3 foot setback from the side of the building to the northern property line, which is the property line next to the residential building. There's an easement shown that's a 7 foot wide easement. In addition to that, the survey doesn't specify any other information. Do you gentlemen know what rights are conveyed by that easement and to whom?
I don't know. That's something that's something
Okay, so
now standing here.
thank you for that. And we, we've heard testimony from the public, and you're not providing us anything that refutes that. So just want the board to know that we have some questions still.
Very well. Any other questions, comments?
I'm not clear on the two parking spaces and I don't recall where I read it. Was it in the engineering report? That there are two on-site outdoor parking spaces?
No, they're part of their testimony. It's really two on street.
On street, I see. So,
There's actually no parking on the property, on the site. No parking.
Excuse.
That's correct. Only, that's what all cars at all times. Inside. Correct, yes.
Very well. There are no other additional questions or comments from the board. May I have a motion to approve or deny?
Chairman, I'm going to make a motion that we reject this application for 24 Woodside Avenue for automobile customization.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Brigliadoro, can you bring us up to speed? For example, a yes vote would be a decline.
So, Mr. Chairman, so we have a motion to deny the application. We have a second. So any person who supports that motion to deny, you can vote yes on the motion to deny. If you are opposed to it, then you vote no. And if you support the motion to deny, you vote yes.
Please poll the board.
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Karash,
Yes.
Mr. Luke Daniano,
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo,
Yes.
Mr. Poshis,
Yes.
Dr. Abdi. Yes. Chairman Kilpatrick.
Chairman votes yes, the application is denied. However, we wish you a good future. I was very impressed by your presentation, and I know you would do well in the future.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I'm going to declare a 5-minute comfort break. Pardon. 356 Art Gang LLC for 175 Patterson Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, John Vettery, entering my appearance on behalf of 356 Art Gang LLC. This pertains to the property located at 175 Patterson Avenue, Block 89, Lot 5.04. Before I proceed, I just want to confirm, Mr. Brigliadoro, that notice is acceptable and that this applicant has the jurisdiction to proceed.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Veteran will provide me with the notice package, which I reviewed. It does conform to the requirements of municipal land use law, so the board does have jurisdiction to proceed with this application.
Thank you, Mr. Brigliadoro. So there aren't a lot of applications that we have that are really exciting, I would say. And this is, I think, a very exciting one, and it harkens back to a time in Little Falls where art was very prevalent, and we're going to hear about that and about this use. But before we get into the exciting stuff, let me talk about a little bit of the boring stuff. So these ladies over here, they are 356 Art Gang LLC. It's an entity that has been in existence for some time. They operate very successfully in Essex County. Had the opportunity to visit their current site, and just some incredible artists. Really just so impressed with what they do and their determination to expand what they're doing. The current building that they were located in East Orange had fallen into disrepair, and that wasn't suitable for their current needs. Looking for a building like this kind of size in North Jersey, this is not an easy feat. And they came by and happened to find the building at 175 Patterson Avenue. So I'm going to bore you with a little bit of history because I always think it is somewhat relevant. So the site, it's a 2-acre site. Everyone thinks it's 2 lots, one next to the other, because there is a wooded portion of the site, but it is actually 1 2-acre lot. 5.04, a little bit more than 2 acres. We all know the property. It's across the street from our great rec center, and the wooded area, there's no proposal at this time or that I know of in the future or anything in the context of an addition to this building. This application just pertains to the existing building. So how did this building get here? So a little brief history. This was like much of the property along the Passaic River. This was Beatty carpet property. There actually were 2 small, I wanted to bring a picture, but I was not able to. There were 2 small Beatty properties that were local brownstones that were located here. Those were torn down years ago. It was vacant for many, many years. In the late 50s or the 60s, there was a textile company there known as Capital Knitting. Capital Knitting operated there for many, many years until Mr. Silvano, who is the principal of Label Graphics, who's in the audience here this evening, purchased the building from Capital Knitting. Building is located in an industrial zone, which made it interesting and attractive for Mr. Silvano. He operated a successful business there. That business was sold and acquired back in 2021, and the building has been vacant ever since. If you look at the permitted uses in the industrial zone, like there's a lot that's permitted in this zone that is a lot more aggressive than what's being planned by my clients. And however, with that said, I think that there are some elements of what they do that align themselves with the industrial zone, like assembly and fabrication. And when I initially submitted this application, I had asked the board to consider this not to be a use variance. That didn't go through. So the board has the determination, but at least the board professionals, is that we are here requesting a use variance because it is a unique application and it's a unique use. And we're going to talk about that and why there are so many benefits to this application as opposed to something that is point on, laser focused, permitted use in the industrial zone. So that's a little bit of a history of the site, the building, and we're going to hear about, a description of this business and the operation, which is, really very interesting and has a lot of other interesting things that I think will grow out of them being located here in Little Falls in terms of the arts community, what's happening at Old Town Hall, the Arts Council in Passaic County, and things that actually have a positive benefit to the community. In addition to the positive benefit of having a building that's been vacant for 5 years filled with a vibrant new use. So the professional artists that are before you are planning to maintain and operate studios within this building. And we have the architect here this evening, Mr. Capo, who's going to give a description of the actual use of the building, how the building's going to be used. And we have Christine Romanel, who's a longtime resident of Little Falls and is going to be giving testimony tonight and answer all of your questions with regard to hours of operation, how many people are going to be there. We're going to talk about parking, talk about use, talk about special events, and answer all of the board's questions and the good questions that Mr. Bari and Mr. Kopelars put down in their respective letters. So just to go over where we are with in terms of variances. So the major variance this evening that we're seeking is a D1 use variance that will permit them to use the space because this particular use is not a permitted use, although I think it has elements of approved uses in fabrication and assembly. In addition, while we've noticed for a parking variance, the building existed, it got approved by the board back in presumably the late 50s or the early 60s. And I did an open request to try to find the original application, the original resolution of approval. And usually the board office, Debbie, can always find, a lot of information. For whatever reason, there was almost nothing on this building. I know it's here. We know it exists. It exists for many years with two successful businesses that have operated there, since before JFK was president, but we just don't know how. The only reference in the file, there was a letter from the mid-90s when Mr. Silvano purchased the building that was more of an approval letter. I think it may have been written and signed by Mr. Grimm, who was the building subcode official at the time, just saying that we permit you to occupy the premises. So if you look at the parking, just based on the math of parking in the industrial zone with one space for every 300 square feet, it would trigger about 86 parking spaces. Currently, there's not much of a parking plan there. It's a bit, all due respect to Mr. Silvano, a little bit of the Wild West in the parking lot. And that's one of the benefits of this application is to be able to now formalize the parking in that area. But the maximum parking that we can arrive at in the improved area of this lot is 45 parking spaces. So if the board feels that that is a variance, then we're seeking that variance as well. In addition, there are a couple of small pre-existing non-conformities for front yard setback and side yard setback, particularly on the north side, it's about 5.5 feet. And the front yard setback is supposed to be, I believe, 25 feet. I think in one area, we're about 18.7. So that's an overview of the site, a little bit of an overview of the use and the variances that we're requesting. So my first witness tonight is Christine Romanel, resident of Little Falls and managing member of 356 Art Gang LLC, and she can speak a lot better about the operations. Christine?
Please raise your right
Mr.
hand.
Chairman.
Please raise your right hand. Do swear affirm the testimony that you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please tell us who you explain to us and use your business address.
Our business address is 175 Patterson Ave, Little Falls.
You just need to put your name on the record and spell.
Oh, Christine Romanel, Romanell. Absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, township staff. I have been a resident of Little Falls for 28 years. I live right in the center of town. And we are proposing studio space that we're going to call 175 FIVE for the 5 women that we are. We are a women-owned collective founded by the 5 principal artists. Our community includes career professionals, university professors, architects, New Jersey State Council, the Art Fellows. Our core group has worked together successfully for 20 years, most recently at Manufacturers Village in East Orange. As a longtime resident, I am thrilled to help bring a long-term home for our creative practice right here to Little Falls. 175 is a private working art studio facility. It is not a public gallery, a retail shop, or a commercial event venue. We are building out 35 individual artist spaces, but these artists work on independent staggered schedules. On a typical day, no more than 10 to 15 artists will be working on site at any given time. Because this is an invitation-only workspace with no retail sales, our daily traffic and parking footprint are equivalent or less than a low-density office. We view ourselves as a silent partner in the community and responsible stewards of the Passaic County River Corridor. On day one, our studio operations will focus strictly on two mediums, fine art painting and ceramics. To address a point of clarity, while our zoning application notes future potential for woodworking and metal sculpting, we don't have any woodworkers or welders currently. And if we decide to add those disciplines down the road, we will work with the building department to submit full mechanical plans, infiltration, engineering prior to onboarding those parts. The natural beauty of the Passaic River right here in Little Falls made our town a celebrated destination for the 18th and 19th century landscape painters. By establishing 175 along the exact riverfront of 175 Patterson Ave, we are honoring that rich local heritage and bringing world-class creative talent back to Little Falls. We bring recognized cultural prestige, formal relationships with the Montclair Art Museum, academic ties with Montclair State University, and long-term property stewardship. We are replacing potential high-impact industries uses with quiet, low-density, high-value professional community. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Did you already put the name of the organization on your front door?
Very small.
17FIVE, because I'm looking at it and I'm saying, well, that's unusual. Very nicely done. I like it.
Thank
Any question? Thank you.
Yeah, our next witness is Michael Capo, who's going to testify in the area of architecture. He prepared the plans that were submitted to the board.
The only thing is you have to speak into the microphone.
You swear from the testimony that you're about to, this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please tell us when you explain less and we can see this is.
Michael Capo, CAPO, 12 Brook Hill Terrace, Clifton.
That's fine.
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Notre Dame. I've been practicing for approximately 30 years. I have licenses in several states. They're all in good standing.
Except.
Okay, we'll start in the basement. The basement was basically just one big open space. And what we're going to do down there, it's pretty simple. Carve out 5 separate art studios. Existing stairs are going to stay the same. And then there's going to be a delineation in the center, which is going to be basically used for storing art supplies and anything that they need to run a business. First floor was somewhat similar. There's a small office area up towards the front, and then a large open area on the side and the back that was completely empty. And again, we filled that up with art studios and then carved out some portions of the front office space into art studios also, for a total of 30 on that floor. 30 on the first and 5 in the basement. All of the existing toilets are going to remain, the existing loading docks are going to remain, the existing stairs are going to remain, the existing elevator is going to remain. and it has plenty of means of egress from both floors. That's the extent of it. Site plan, the parking lot was existing unpaved. I had an existing survey, which I superimposed into AutoCAD and got as many parking spaces as I could on there, which amounted to 86. And 86 was provided, is required, and 45 is what he picked up on the existing macadam, not extending into the grass. There's 2 handicap spots that are going to be provided out of those. There are 2 transformers existing on the site, one in the front corner, one in the back corner. The site kind of slopes down and then curves around back towards the back of the building with a small retaining wall in between the 2 of them. And that's where that loading dock would align level with the higher portion of it to receive anything that may come into the building. There's yes, the step is approximately 6 inches. A barrier-free ramp would require a 1-on-12 slope, which would mean a 6-foot long ramp, which there's plenty of room for, and it's easily attainable. A potential solution would be to label the 3 spots in front of the frontermost loading dock as compact cars only, and the same for 2 spots across from the rear stair. And I believe that would be enough for a turning radius to back out and to pull into all of those spots in front of those docks.
I tested that myself, but it's science and it's even more clients. You're acting up. This they actually be a little south of where it's shown here.
Yes, there's a spot in between the existing rear loading dock and the north corner, or the north rear corner of the building, which is would have plenty of room to hold. Yes, and right, completely hidden in the back end. It would be easy, like accessible of the truck, either pulling in frontward if it had the front loader or pulling in reverse. Yes.
For increase, setback for the. Parking lot. File.
I would like to make that a condition.
So you put it there to be operating. 24/7. They have their potential for on the computer. They're trying to mark these out, and I'm saying that correctly, but generally it's normal, regular business hours, and it should be noted that little projects sometimes operated through the night, they operated with 50 employees, and which street staff. So if you're weighing the difference of what goes up the use of the projects, so you get significant, particularly from the vehicles after the product. Well, it's more or less, it's a pretty good, if you will, see art space, very good. Recyclables, without that, it's built standards that at the time and we have to pay to further building asking the developer. We have to get there. We're aware that the state room on the effective river needs to have some time. If you know the other time that you can go about area, maybe take talking, it would come in police about the parking lot is something, right? But it's significant drop, particularly this major area to be taken back. There is drop off. People don't let of the parking lot will be that river. But it's been considered in the context we do. Okay, was like so. We had put together the board we this out. We can do with reasonable time. We located some lights that are actually on poles. We work. That's nothing to do with that. We do it, but put together a plan to see if we can work on it's very bright. In the park, but we'll make sure that it's like well.
Can we discuss curb cuts?
So you get a curb cut. This is pretty loud.
Mike, so there's a very unusual curb cut I think the chairman is referring to. When you enter and leave the site, in the middle of the access point, and I had emailed some pictures to Mr. DeMaria. I know he had to leave, so I don't know if we have access to those, but when you're on the site, there is a curb right in the middle it's almost like there's an in and an out. Maybe that's the way it was designed at one point. There'd be an ingress and egress on either side of this curve. And the actual ingress point interferes with the crosswalk that's there because a lot of people that, go to recreation events, park over there and cross. So I thought a better alternative, and we'll see what the county has to say about this, would be to remove this odd 6 or 8 foot curve that's in the middle of the curve cut. I'd be eager to hear what the board engineer has to say about that, as we don't have an engineer. So
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. It's difficult to see, especially at night. It just seems to be in the middle of access to the site. I think it would be an improvement, probably to do that maybe for better define a right of way opening.
yeah, I think even a hatched area where the crosswalk is, maybe a hatched area there so that there's an area where your walk is. Right now, where the crosswalk goes is where cars turn in, they're headed toward Main Street. And we can put that together for your.
Events, can we discuss events?
So
How are we gonna manage events?
yeah, and Christine can speak to this and correct me if I'm, there's one annual event that they have and they take care of the parking for that event, either by working with the neighboring property owner or hiring a valet parking company to assist with the parking, for an event. But space is not open to the public. It's not an art gallery. It's for the use of their own assembly and fabrication of artwork. And when they do have the art event, which I think is something that we as a township would want to encourage, like having this type, people coming in to the township for the arts and then going to the park, going to the restaurants and the coffee houses. And I think that is would be a benefit, and they will take care of that, much like they did in their other location that, had a very limited amount of parking, and make sure that there's adequate parking for anyone who visits.
Any questions of our planner?
Did we touch on any signage aside from the small?
The signage is, that was proposed, you can see it on the elevation, the proposed elevation of the front. And I believe it's going to be cut out of metal. Yeah, so it's on the last page. So I don't know, we'll make sure that the size is in accordance with, we're not seeking a variance for that. So whatever the required sign for the wall mounted metal signage, but it's something, to be unique. And the building looks tired right now, just to give some design element to the front of that building. And in addition to the landscaping, you could see the existing on the top of that picture on the last page and the proposed.
What's the size?
It's going to be whatever the maximum allowable sign. Comply with the one, yes, more than 5.
And I know that there was some testimony about striping or identifying compact spaces. Understanding that maneuver that you referenced, it's probably pretty easy when there's no other cars in the lot, maybe a little trickier if there's a line of cars there. If you determine the field conditions that you need to remove a few parking spaces, if that just needs to be striped as dead area, do you know how many spaces would be left on site if we needed to give you a little wiggle room?
Yeah, exactly. 5 would have to be removed.
Okay, so maybe, for the board's consideration, if wise circulation patterns dictate removing some of those parking spaces, we consider the count to be 40, maybe plus a few, rather than the 45 that were shown on the plan.
So the board can consider granting the variance for minimum of 45.
I think that makes sense, because larger vehicles, everything parked up there, it might be a little tricky getting in and out of a few of those spaces.
Area where it's there.
And if that's going to continue to be one of the main loading areas, it may make sense operationally to keep that free. If you've got stuff coming in and out.
September scenario, they be accepted. That one there, there, same.
And I know you mentioned the flood hazard area. I had the recommendation about signage, which you see in other places around town. I think that makes sense. Just from a building use standpoint, is there, and I don't know the history, is there any concern about the lower level of the building taking on water during a big event that just from a practical standpoint, not necessarily anything you need to change on the plans? Is it kind of
There is an over some water intrusion in that area. Hasn't been a problem. Here's the elevation change with that. Stormy is not very. But it's that lower level. The upper level. I don't know.
we don't want that.
Yeah. But the lower level. Would be at risk of the risk associated with that. Necessary.
Okay. Yeah, just think from a suitability standpoint, I want to make sure everybody's wide awake and aware of the risks. Thanks.
Michael?
Just, say that there's gonna be 35 studios, you anticipate there will be 35 studio. They're not. Right, that was my question, if they be working on different projects where one ordinance might fall. Yeah, but there's a potential for those. Then it's just the parking, need for a variance for the aisle loop. The entrance, due to the, stairway outside of the building. And adequacy of the parking. With the, public events. Describe the shared parking. With the other, local, adjoining property.
Yeah, fairly, because, that conversation there about. More understanding the results with,
Then as far as the paving, that requirement would be milling 2 inches and putting a new field service, at the and then the dumpster will be possible. I know it's not visible from the front, but typically we require.
with fencing, yeah. Like the red thing, it's brick, it's like kind of going to the rear of the building.
Deep fencing, over, it's sliding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Then the lighting plan you said you would provide with the intensity, we'd have to improve the lighting, only saw 2, pole mounted lights, there are some spotlights, attached to the building. And we need to supplement that, well. So I have.
Thank you very much. Any questions of the board?
When is this event typically taking place?
Here, there's a statewide event called Garden State Art Weekend. And all of the art venues, museums and universities all open for that weekend. So more than likely that's in April, so that's probably. But we would apply.
Thank you.
Any additional questions?
On the plans, there's an unlabeled boxed in area that could be an elevator. Is there an elevator in the building? Is it a passenger elevator? It's afraid of. And if you open the gallery to the public, do you have any concerns about handicap access to the lower level?
Yeah, that was that elevated area next to the loading. There's also May, we're there.
Right. Well, we're proposing to, here. Open, and right now, it could be right up the 6 inch. on the roof, but it's- it's just a little
Also, if the application is approved, would the artist collective be interested in collaborating with our school system? The Sag Valley High School and the grammar school system?
Go ahead, go ahead. We lost that way time ago.
What's the likelihood that 35 artists are gonna be in location at the same time?
I think very unlikely.
I don't know, is this something that you sell the artwork out of this location or is it?
No, Christine, for example, is finishing a show on the art museum. And this is artists at a very high level at operating. Do sell their artwork, but this is not a retail location. They're not selling.
Is there anything for the go back? Continuing selling other people already.
Been very friendly, it's been something, governor has been, acknowledged that there is certainly a need for it, so I think they will be businesses. Which is one of the reasons why I thought, that it would be a good idea, right, for just that, you're basically having cars turn into.
Did I hear there's no ventilation proposed, but in the future there would be?
There is ventilation in the building. I think you were talking about the specific to the extent of a woodworker or a welder coming that requires special. Right, that will solve it to the extent they have. One of the certified artists has the woodworker. Well.
Any artwork going on the outside of the building?
They would love that sculpture, it's like artwork, it isn't proposed. You come back and see it's,
Any additional questions? May I have a motion to open up the meeting to the public?
Make a motion.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the podium. No one coming forward. I close the meeting to the public.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, so I'm gonna just be as brief as possible, just talking a little bit about some of the planning elements that Mr. Bari asked about. I think we are asking, we're asking for a D1 use variance, and that's a high standard. I believe that, we've met that standard, and the standard being, let's talk about the positive criteria and any negative criteria. So I think there's a list of positives that we've given, the applicant's given testimony to with respect to this, and just pointing out a few. One would be, in the municipal land use law, under criteria 2I, to promote a visible environment. Right now, it's not a very pretty visible environment. And that's not a criticism of the prior users. They were, real time, industrial manufacturing that was permitted in this use. This is a very high-end use for this area. I think it's an upgrade to what's permitted. And just because something is permitted doesn't mean it's worse. Many times, something that's not permitted could be a higher and better use. And that's the example that I believe we have tonight. And then looking at 2M, I think would also be advanced, whereby if this board sees fit to approve this, that would allow a at least 5-year vacant building, within a gateway region of our township to finally be utilized with productive use. As for any negative criteria, we've addressed the concerns and we've agreed to make lots of concessions by way of facade improvements, landscaping, finally a nice new parking lot in the area, lighting improvements to bring the building up to a higher standard, as well as making the building ADA accessible. Not causing an issue for any of the neighbors, creating any negativity for any of our industrial neighbor friends, but also recognizing that we have an R1B residential neighborhood across the street. So in this regard, this is a positive for any residential neighbor to say that this is a less intense use, no 53-foot trailers coming in, no loud operations, and it's maybe more akin to something that would be in our B1 zone as opposed to the I industrial zone. So I think that the board could look at this application and feel very good about granting this application without any substantial detriment to the public good. And in fact, this will not impair the zone plan or intent and purpose of the zone plan. And for those reasons, I hope the board sees fit to approve the application. And thank you for all the good comments.
Thank you. Any additional questions of our professionals, our engineer, or planner?
Okay.
Any questions of the board? Mr. Brigadier Earl, can you bring us up to speed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, so the applicant needs to be on use variance, really. A preliminary formal site plan approval. Variance for the number of parking spaces. A couple of existing nonconformities which are not being aggravated or exacerbated as a result of this application. The applicant is being certain stipulations in regard to resurfacing and striking the parking lot, dumpster enclosure, fence with slabs. Submitting for updating the lighting. Signage, as Mr. Barry indicated in his report in regard to the possibly flood hazard in the parking area. We're going to plant the door shade trees. That will provide overall in terms of conditions in the board engineer's report, board planner's report. If there's anything else. Good. Satisfied?
Yes, that's good. That's more than enough.
You addressed the lighting somewhere in there, right?
But-
Okay, I thought you did. Okay, any other additional questions? If not, may I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second,
Second.
please hold the board.
Wait. I make a motion to approve the application. Thank you all. I'm still set. Yeah, Val, you're number 7 on.
Mr. Barry,
Yes.
Mr. Karan,
Yes.
Mr. Luke Demiano,
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo,
Yes.
Mr. Pocious,
Yes.
Dr. Abdi,
Yes.
Chairman Kilpatrick.
Chairman votes yes, the application is approved. Welcome to Little Fall. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Hmm?
Ovation.
That's a little bit different from the previous application. Okay, one more.
Chairman, I'm gonna recuse myself on this one.
You may recuse yourself.
Right.
yes. Thank you. But John, you usually don't get this many hugs after a presentation.
Yeah. Nice added benefit.
Take either one.
You still have enough for a board of adjustment? Yeah. Proceed, Mr. Veteran.
Okay,
This application is for Viva. I hope I pronounced that correctly. For Your Life LLC, 200 East Main Street.
okay. Again, everybody, John Vettery, entering my appearance on behalf of Viva for Your Life LLC. And its owner and proprietor, none other than my friend Vanessa Vargas, who is no stranger to the town or the board. She's operated here for quite some time, I think over 20 years. Okay, 25 years, I'm hearing in the background, and she's a wonderful person. She's been before this board when she purchased the property at 200 East Main Street. She was previously, the first location was located next to where Olive, to the left of Olive Bistro on East Main Street, and then at 19 East Main, and now in the current location. So I'm not sure if all of you were on the board when we came before the board on 200 East Main. So this application is, shares similarities to the Martirano building because it's a property that is in a residential zone. In that case, Martirano's case, it's in an industrial zone that's really operating as a retail type operation. And what it does is it essentially forces any change of use to come before this board. So if this was in the B1 zone, which is what, in my opinion, this lot really reads more of a B1 zone. But I understand that when the town fathers were doing the zoning, they made this R1B, and it was built in the 1800s as a home. In 1979, the planning board granted relief to make this a mixed-use building. Mixed-use building it moved it from a single family, then it was a two-family, now into a mixed use that allowed, it may have been Dr. Pace, Chairman?
Pace.
Yeah, Dr. Pace, and then there was an apartment upstairs. After that, there was another doctor and a chiropractor. So now there were 3 uses on the property: lower level chiropractor, main floor doctor, upstairs, an apartment. So we came before the board in 2016, and the board granted a use variance for Vanessa to completely renovate that building, take it down to the studs, rebuild it, make it really beautiful in terms of what you did. I believe that was in 2016. 2018, we came back to the board to seek a further use variance so that Vanessa would be permitted to operate the lower level as a wedding boutique salon downstairs, a private salon for individuals for religious purposes, want to have a little privacy, and to expand her salon. Salon has operated successfully throughout the 3 locations, especially in this location. Fast forward to 2026, there have been some law changes in the state of New Jersey that now permit individual hairstylists to operate their own shop. You see these locations that are opening up all over the place. We have them. I don't think we have any in the township, but they're in Totowa and they're in West Caldwell and they're in Cedar Grove. And they're basically, think of it almost like a jewelry exchange for salons. So it permits, if you comply with their rules and have little booths, and that you could have in a space of, 5,000 square feet, you could probably have 20 something individual businesses that operate out of one suite. And because of this, a lot of people that would work traditionally at salons, working as an employee, not as a 1099 or not as a subtenant, have left. And Vanessa's experience has been that as well. She made the determination not to create a salon suite, which would be very intense at 200 East Main. Rather, she looked at a couple of potential opportunities, one of which was that she just simply doesn't need all the space for her salon in the lower level, which is what we're proposing, that she use the lower level for her salon and find a tenant for the first floor. Very hard in this environment to put a sign out with a realtor and open it up to the public to say, would you like to, come to this space? And we have to say, well, anything that wants to go in there, whether it's a lawyer, doctor, graphic artist, something that typically would be permitted in B1, they have to go before the board because it's not in a B1 zone, it's an R1B. So we'll forever have to come before the board when there's a change of use. Luckily, she has a very nice nephew who is an artist, a tattoo artist. and operates successfully in Bergen County currently, a company called the Irish Light. And he's looking for space, and while, tattoo use is a permitted use in our B1 zone, there's no business use that's permitted in the R1B zone, which is why we're here this evening. The intensity, which Vanessa will speak about, is actually much less, because right now there's 10 haircutting stations in the upper floor and I believe 4 downstairs. And the downstairs is essentially staying the same. And the upstairs proposed tattoo parlor will be, there will be artwork on the walls, but it's not an art studio. And it's all by appointment, and the type of tattoos are like what they call real life tattoos. Like we like, what do they call them? Realism. And to demonstrate how much I like that, I got a tattoo of Robert Beatty from the Falls. Right, no, I didn't. But I don't have the negative connotation of it as I did probably appearing before this board 20 years ago. You're seeing it in every upscale downtown. I was in Boonton recently, and they have a really vibrant downtown, and they have 3 tattoo parlors right within their downtown. And it's something that there's a demand for it. And there's a demand, particularly amongst young people, that there's a demand for it. And, creating a boutique style, this is, only 4 stations that is being proposed, gives a new use to the property. Nothing on the signage is going to say even tattoo. It's just Irish Light. And there'll be, the access points will stay the same, the parking lot will stay the same. And there will be some improvements made, and will comply with the, some of the recommendations from District Corporate. So that's an overview. We're here today on a, on a use variance to permit this, and no other changes being requested and no other variances being asked for. My one witness tonight is the Honorable Vanessa Vargas, who is here to answer any questions and maybe fill in some of the gaps that I left out. Vanessa?
Do you swear affirming testimony that you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yourself, please, spell your last name.
Vanessa Vargas, V as in Victor, ARGAS. And I'm residing in Clifton, but Bill will take it. A little bit. Yes. Yeah. Sure. So I've been a hairstylist for 30 years. I've been in Little Falls up and down Main Street for 25 years. And I can honestly say since COVID, there's been a major shift in the industry. Not only do they allow the state of New Jersey for chair rentals to be legal, but they're also allowing the salon suites. And the salon suites do a good job in recruiting stylists to be your own boss. And there's been a shift where I actually have 12 chairs, not 10. And one by one, a lot of the stylists have left, either not just for salon suites, but to rent a chair. They don't want to be in a commission salon. And I understand that as an entrepreneur, the need to want to grow. But I'm also at a point where, because I've been doing hair for 30 years, I kind of want to scale back a little bit. And I feel that the salon use and the use of the space could be better utilized. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My parents were bodega owners. My sister owns a food truck. So it's not surprising that my 22-year-old nephew, who's really talented in realism, wants to take use of the space. Alongside of the hair industry, the type of tattooing that he does is realism. So he's with one client pretty much for the entire time. It's not like he's doing small little tattoos. Part of the realism, he does areolar reconstruction. So for women who have mastectomies and remove their breasts, he can tattoo a nipple to make it look like more natural and normal. So that's another specialty that he has that I feel it's a nice tie-in to the beauty industry because it is aesthetic. And I kind of feel like I want to pull back a little bit, and he's ready to grow. So I think that space would be better used for him being there. Correct. Everything will stay the same. Basically, because I have
12 chairs. And when I came in front of the board the last time, we did the numbers of how many people I was going to have working, how many stylists I was going to have, how many clients I would have. The fact that I'm going less with 4 chairs downstairs at maximum, I would have, myself, I only have one stylist right now, and she only comes in on Fridays and Saturdays. And then I have an assistant who works with me Fridays and Saturdays. So essentially it's just me downstairs. I would have maybe 1 or 2 clients at the same time, like while one is processing, I could be doing a blow dry. So maximum would be 3 people downstairs when I'm there. And then when my other stylist is there, it would probably be no more than 4 to 5 people. So my nephew having 4 people upstairs, total maximum would be 8 because it would be 1 client at a time. So the number of people would stay the same as it was when I had 12 chairs in the salon.
136, for whatever reason, there was a prohibition put about, else.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I've never done pedicures, manicures, no massaging. I just do hair and waxing, and it's just facial waxing.
Any questions for the board?
I have a question. I was looking at your architect's drawings and there appears that there are going to be 3 new sinks installed in the basement.
3 new. I currently have 1 sink already. There would be 1 more sink added.
Plan is wrong.
Plan shows a washing machine existing, 2 sinks existing, a toilet existing, and 3 new sinks. So my question goes to the elevation, because it's in the basement. In 2018, the superintendent of the Department of Public Works conditioned the approval for you to move down there on installing an inject pump.
Yep. That's what we have now.
You do?
Yes.
It's not indicated on the plans.
Yeah, it's what I have existing now. It's the only way that we could make that work. So when we add another sink, it would be the same type of setup.
I'll defer to the engineer, but I'm not sure that you'd have to look at the size of the ejector pump to make sure that it can handle 3 additional sinks.
Well, the 1 sink that I have now, the injector pump is like right behind the sink. So it would be, the same setup as far as each sink would have its own injector pump.
And that would be also permitted, I'm sure, plumbing permit.
Oh, yeah.
Any additional questions?
Mr. Chairman, just a couple quick questions. The proposed hours of operation for your nephew's tattoo parlor?
Similar to mine, I'm Tuesday through Saturday. He would be Tuesday through Saturday. His hours would just be 12 to 7. My hours fluctuate. I only have 1 late night a week. He'll probably be there till 7 on his work days.
Okay, and you said that he would have at maximum 4 employees himself plus 3 other people potentially?
Correct.
And this would be by appointment only?
Yes. Yeah. His tattoos last anywhere from 6 to 8 hours each client.
So it would be somebody would be there all day getting
Yes.
tattooed. Yeah, so it wouldn't be in and out. It wouldn't be a lot of turnover necessarily.
Correct.
And we covered the previous conditions, so we got that. Thanks.
Mr. Kovalars, any comments, questions?
It's mostly in regards to site improvements, what's remaining, the other questions have been addressed.
Do you agree to all the comments in the engineer's report?
Yes.
See, that was quick. All right, shall I open the meeting to the public? May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Make motion.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All those members of the public wishing to address the board, please approach the podium No one coming forward. I close the meeting to the public. Are you going to continue with, D1 variant?
Okay, so similar to our last application, but I think this is a lot lighter of a lift in that this board has already granted twice a D1 variance for a use that I think the applicant has demonstrated is a more intense use than what's being proposed. And I always look at this as, you know, like what would be permitted in the B1 zone in this area, and this would be a permitted use in that B1 zone. But you know, just going through the same type of criteria, the positive criteria, and you know, the building is already, it has been, you know, renovated and it's maintained beautifully, and that will continue. And having a, you know, a vibrant, good tenant that's there and someone that she knows and trusts is important as well. And to keep this, to keep the building in good shape. And the improvements that are being proposed that Mr. Poplar noted in his letter, also an improvement. So to me, it's a continuation of letter 2I of the desirable visible effect. And then as for, you know, this is not a vacant building, but having a vacant space there, there's currently a need. And we always look at, you know, what is happening right now in various industries and how that impacts this area. So it's not something like a restaurant or something that is super noisy that could have an impact on the residential neighbors in that area. So I think that the board can grant the application showing that there would not be any detriment, let alone a substantial detriment to the public good. I would say that the neighbors will not even notice that there's a change. Signage will be very discreet. Will not even say that it's a tattoo parlor. It's a by appointment business with many less seats than what Viva has currently now. And there wouldn't be any impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan. And possibly at a future master plan reexamination, someone would look at this property and maybe see fit to put this property in the B1 zone. And that would still be something that, to the extent that there's anything outside of the B1 zone, would give the board the opportunity to review. But if there was another conforming use, then she wouldn't have to come back. That's not the case here. That's why we're here. I think that she has met the requirements under the law for the board to approve this application, showing no substantial detriment to the zone. And for those reasons, I hope the board sees fit to.
I'm sorry, what?
So for those reasons, I hope the board sees fit to approve the application.
You have completed your summation?
Completed.
Thank you. I'd like to clarify, this is an R1B zone. This is not a B1 zone.
Correct.
Period.
Yeah.
There is no comparison to the Margarino application. The board members should not feel compelled to approve because of a prior approval, which is in a combination industrial zone and B1 zone. Sorry to disagree with you on that, but
No, it was just a comparison.
I do. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm having a problem believing that the purposes of the master plan are advanced by this application. And the reason is that you are, and you have not even mentioned it, allowing 3 principal uses on one property, which has the appearance of the house. I find that very difficult to accept. I do not believe it advances the intent of the master plan. Can you respond to
So
that?
just to respond to that, so that was approved. So the board back in the 1970s did approve that use. So there was a chiropractor, different business, there was a medical doctor, and there was an apartment. So this building for decades has been a multi-use, mixed-use building. That's not new.
I'm sorry, you're saying we have to approve this because in 1970s it was approved?
I'm saying, so you're asking the question about, you know, whether or not there is a basis for that. So I think the basis is looking back in the history of the building, where there have been more than just two uses, where there have been three uses, a use for the lower level, separate and apart from a use from the main level. And then there's an apartment upstairs. So I always like to go back and say, how did we get here? We had a single family house. It became a two-family house in the 50s and 60s. And then in the late 70s, just before President Carter left us, it was a mixed-use building that permitted uses on the lower level, the main level, and then kept that apartment on the upper level.
And I would submit that's not a reason or a requirement for approval.
Well, it runs with the land. So the prior use variances, they would run with the land. In other words, that's why we're not here this evening asking for permission for the apartment or for permission to utilize the lower level. It's a change. It's a change. I think it's a better change, a more discrete use for the salon area. It's a tattoo salon as opposed to a hair salon.
Mr. Brigliaduro, can you give us a thought on that?
Mr. Chairman, the board has made several approvals in the past. In regard to the use of the property. So now the apartment would be one use, the hair salon would be the second use. Right. The third use, the tattoos that would be the tattoo business. So, John, has a third use existed on the property?
Sure. Yeah, for decades. Yeah. Yeah, there was before Vanessa bought the building, there was a chiropractor on the lower level. The Dr. Odes, O-D-E-S, Dr. Adis was on the main level, and the apartment, just one, not two, there was just the one apartment on the upper level.
So there were three uses before,
For many years.
but the uses are all different. So
Different uses, right? So one was chiropractic, medical office, apartment. I think the only constant has been the apartment. That's never, to my knowledge, that's never been an office. There was an apartment up, when it was a two-family, there was an apartment on the second floor, an apartment on the first floor. And then in 1979, when they did the mixed-use building, it was the utilization of the two levels for medical, if you consider chiropractic also medical use, on the lower level and the upper level. And then we came before the board in 2018 to utilize the lower level, for this wedding type salon as an expansion.
But there was really expansions of the same use. Two uses, not
In that, yeah, in that case, it was, a tangent to the business. So it's, dedicated for like wedding, particular weddings and, special uses for the lower level. But suffice it to say, there's been a productive use, business use for both the lower level and the main level for 40 years, or close to 50.
I think the board can still look at the intensity of the uses.
Sure.
Even though in the past they may have approved the use, maybe they thought that use was less intense. I think they can evaluate this case on its own merits.
Sure. Oh, that's why we're here. Of course, that's why we're here, trying to answer questions. We think that this is a much less intense use. There were 12 hair salon stations. Now they're going to be 4 tattoo stations. So that's a much less intensity. The proximity of the visitors to the building, whereas someone getting a haircut or a blowout are there on a much less time. So it a lot more in and out, especially if you have, I thought it was 10, but Vanessa's saying it's 12 individual hairstylists. That's a lot of activity on that. And this is objectively a much less intense use.
So how many here stations are you gonna have now?
Hair downstairs, 4? Yeah, 4. So 4 and 4.
They're gonna have 4 here stations, they're gonna have 4 That use.
Correct. And everything else facially stays the same. Signage, parking, landscaping, lighting, like that doesn't change at all, just be less cars going in and out of the parking.
John, you have anything to add?
Would you like to hear from me, Mr. Chairman?
I'm sorry?
Would you like to hear from me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we've heard the testimony. Obviously, the use variance criteria, we have to focus on whether the site is particularly suited for the use and whether there may be special reasons to permit the use. We've heard about the site suitability in the context of the historic use of the property as both a mixed use and multi-tenanted building, and about the suitability of the space, comparing the current approved salon operation to the prospective mix of tattoo plus salon. So kind of, I think from an intensity of use and appropriateness, suitability of the site, I think we're really left to consider are the 4 salon spaces in the lowest level plus the 4 tattoo spaces. Is that sort of equivalently or less intense than the 12 salon stations that were previously approved by the board? And then we had some commentary about special reasons in terms of promoting a desirable visual environment and creating commercial activity in a building that's been used for commercial purposes. And, those things may well be. So as far as the positive side of the ledger, we've heard some representations. On the negative side, we don't have any concerned members of the public here, which is not the be all end all, but it does help speak to the fact that the salon has been there and presumably has been a good neighbor, because nobody's here telling us about all the problems that they have with the salon. So a continued operation and again, back to the intensity, is similarly intense use would likely not create any new issues that haven't come to light up to this point. And then, Mr. Chairman, you had raised questions about the master plan. Obviously, the use and uses are not permitted in the zone, so they're not contemplated by the master plan. We'll say that there is some language throughout the master plan, particularly for the downtown area. This is right on the periphery of the downtown area, about encouraging mixes of uses in buildings, and some of the redevelopment plans and zoning changes that the township has pursued to encourage that. So the master plan on a broad brush level doesn't speak ill of mixed use projects, doesn't have anything to do with this particular property or the R1B zone, but just kind of in general, there is an acknowledgement that commercial activities evolving, flexibility has become different than it used to be in some ways. So if I were the applicant's planner, I'd give you some kind of spiel like that. But they
Just, if I may add
Yeah.
one thing for the consideration of the board, so I'm gonna nerd out a little on the MLUL stuff. Just don't look at me like nerd out. Yep, we got you. So
you know what time it is, John?
the questions the board has to ask themselves in these type of applications, for D1, will the project flow, function, and operate safely, comfortably, efficiently per the testimony of the applicant? I think the answer here is yes. Will it visually, functionally, physically have any impact of a substantial adverse nature? And I think the answer is no, that I don't know what the substantial adverse nature here would be, when the testimony before the board is that it's going to be much less intense. If we could have she would have kept this all one use and made it a salon suite. And frankly, she would have been operating under her existing use that she got. And that would have been super intense. Like if she turned it into a salon suite with 12 different stations and independent businesses, that's a state law change. That's not a zoning change. That would not come before this board, but sure would be a major negative impact of having 12 independent businesses operating a salon suite for independent chair rentals, which is now allowable, and the board had approved that. This is a much less intense use, even though the uses on the floor, may be compatible, Vanessa testified to, with the use. And as she's testified to, much less of an impact from, the use of her parking lot, the ingress and egress, the amount of people visiting the site, noise, garbage, refuse, like all of that is less intense, not more intense.
Any further discussion? Any more comments? We have a motion.
Make a motion to approve the application for the additional use. Second.
Please poll the board.
Mr. Barry,
Yes.
Mr. Karash,
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo,
Yes.
Mr. Poshis.
Yes.
Dr. Abdi. Yes. Mr. Aaron.
Yeah.
And Chairman Kilpatrick.
Chairman votes yes, the application is approved.
Thank you, everybody. Long night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
All right. Is there any old business before the board? Any new business before the board? May I have a motion for adjournment?
Make motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Anyone want to second it?
seconded.
Okay, we're good.